Thank you, Dr. Charles Payne, and thank you to our previous speakers. It's now my great pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Jodi Ryan, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Department of Chief Minister in Cabinet. Jodi was appointed the CEO of that department in December and had been acting, in fact, in that December 2016, had been acting in that role from August 2016. Prior to that, Jodi was the Northern Territory Under-Treasurer, but we will forgive her for that. She now runs the Department of Chief Minister in Cabinet and does a really amazing job behind the scenes. Jodi began her career with NT government in the early 1990s as a graduate. Since then, she's worked mainly in the Treasury, became the Under-Treasurer in July 2013, having done some work in the former Department of the Chief Minister. Jodi has a Bachelor of Business in Accounting from the Northern Territory University, which is now, of course, Charles Darwin University, and is a certified practicing accountant. Jodi is a member of the Charles Darwin University Council and a board member of the Australian and New Zealand School of Government, ANZOG. Behind the scenes, Jodi has been one of the key people who has kept us safe and the economy going here in the Territory. Jodi, we welcome and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky, for that lovely introduction, and also thank you for the opportunity to speak today. So I've been asked to talk about innovation and the future of the public sector. I think the future is extremely bright based on what we've seen and done this year. This year has been extremely difficult to so many people in so many ways. I mean, we even had the instance of yesterday where a whole heap of people almost landing in Darwin ready to either come home or come on a holiday were told that when you land you'll be going to Howard Springs for quarantine. So, you know, COVID has been never the same. We keep getting into a routine and we think we're there and we're in a balanced position, and suddenly we have to switch and turn, do something different, be agile, be flexible, make decisions quickly, be decisive in those actions, and then act and implement. I think for 2020, while it has been very difficult, it's allowed us to be innovative, agile, flexible, and adapt to a new way of doing things. And the innovations for the public sector specifically due to COVID-19 are many and varied. I can't speak for other public sectors, but in the Northern Territory, we've been incredibly innovative and agile, and we've had plenty of examples where we've taken a weekend to do something that we'd normally take months for. I just want to quickly, though, focus on an innovation that's at the highest level of government, National Cabinet. National Cabinet was born out of necessity in a way to manage COVID-19 as a nation, and it is my view, very strong view, that is one of the key reasons we've been able to make and keep Australia one of the safest countries in the world. National Cabinet began at the end of our last COAG meeting in March, because through the meeting we actually received new health information different to what we'd received early in the morning. The Prime Minister called a meeting of just the First Ministers. Our first National Cabinet meeting was held. 2 days later, we held our second meeting. That was virtually, so everyone was back in their home jurisdictions. On Friday, we had our 30th National Cabinet meeting, exactly 8 months to the day from our first one. That's a huge task. What National Cabinet has done now is replace COAG. So some of you may not know what COAG is. COAG is the Council of Australian Governments. All states and territories and the Commonwealth Government were part of this. We'd get together 2 or 3 times a year. There'd be 30 or 40 people in a room. People would have spent months working on things. We'd have had policy teams in every state and territory and in the Commonwealth, big policy teams in some of those big states. They would sit down, they would work up policies and positions, they'd have meetings, they'd agree positions, they'd have disagreements, they'd have more meetings. They'd push it up the line, those people would have some meetings, have some more discussions, have some more disagreements, go back to the drawing board. They would then go up the line further. Eventually it would get to COAG. Generally, by the time it got to COAG, it was a formed view. Wasn't really allowed to be any disagreement at that point. Not a lot of robust discussion, and the big states dominated. They had the policy, the powerhouses in their teams, and the big states dominated. It was probably keeping hundreds and hundreds of public servants around the country employed, not necessarily in the best way. So what we saw from National Cabinet was just First Ministers in the room with their secretaries or the CEOs of their agencies. We saw rapid meetings, we saw papers developed quickly for decision, for action. We removed all of the bureaucracy behind us. Those people are now actually doing things that make a real difference. We focused on 2 key outcomes from the beginning. The first, number 1 outcome was how to keep Australians safe and healthy. No questions asked, number 1 priority. However, the second priority was to how do we do that with bringing the least harm to our economy. We knew that there was going to be harm, particularly that the night that we decided that businesses would shut around Australia. We knew that was going to be devastating, but it was essential to keep people safe, and I think in hindsight we can say that that was the right decision to take. In National Cabinet, we've all had an equal seat at the table. Every First Minister gets to have a say on every topic. In National Cabinet, the Territory has been able to demonstrate our agility and our innovation and our ability to lead the way as a small jurisdiction, which we've never been able to do in a co-ag space. We've led the way in how to reopen business, our border protection, our hotspot policy, our business safety plans, and our approach to the biosecurity arrangements that were discussed earlier and how we keep our most vulnerable Territorians safe. In addition to the National Cabinet, I think the future of the public sector is really exciting. I think we've now been given permission, and as Shane said, we've all got plans in the bottom drawer. I think we'll be taking those plans out. We've been given permission to actually do something different, do something innovative, be more adaptive, be more flexible, and be more responsive to the community. I think the things that we've seen this year that we want to keep in a post-COVID world, I think we've established the innovation-oriented risk management frameworks that we've been operating in this year, and we want to keep that going. We've taken some risks, but they've been calculated risks, thought out risks. There's been transparency. We may have made mistakes. We'll have to go back and fix those, or we will have fixed them as we've gone. But I think the point of that is we've made mistakes and we've learnt from them. We've changed our mindset to be growth-orientated and customer-focused. We've tried to be very curious and try and think about, okay, we've got a problem, how do we find a solution? And we need a solution, by the way, in the next half hour. So I think the way of doing that, while you may have a little more time post-COVID, I think we need to actually keep that in mind. I think also, and Jodi spoke about this, we need to give ourselves permission to collaborate more. We need to collaborate across sectors, across agencies, across industries, and across jurisdictions. And we need to all be focused on our mission-centric outcomes. And I think we need to keep that. So there's 3 core questions that we've been talking about today. What should we stop doing? I think one thing we should stop doing as a public sector is expect that we have all the answers and that we need to provide all the answers. That is a collaborative approach. As a nation, we need to all be working together. Public sector, private sector, non-government organisations. I think we also need to realise that we are never going to make all of the people happy all of the time. Public sectors grind to a halt because they try and keep everybody happy. It's not possible and it's not practical. What we've shown through COVID is we've taken decisive action with a focus on keeping people safe and keeping the economy going. Not everyone's liked our decisions, not everyone's liked our actions, but I'm hoping that they've respected the fact that we've made a decision, we've taken action, we've moved forward, and we've provided solutions. What should we keep doing? I think the mindset about being curious, being connected to each other and collaborating. I think we absolutely have to keep that going. Post-emergency, it's going to be easy to fall back into our old ways. We need to stop that, and we need to stop each other from doing that. We need to work together on this. And what should we do differently? I do talk about having some increased risk appetite. We can develop some risk appetite statements, which we're actually already in the process of doing, but I think we have to be a bit bolder. I think saying that we're 100% risk averse is not the way of the future. We have to take some risks, we have to make some mistakes, and we have to learn from them. Now, I'm not talking about throwing everything away and just doing as you want to, as you need to, but I do think we need to recognise that we take some risks in a transparent way with some framework and some authorising environment, and that's the way we should take it forward. Thank you very much for the opportunity today, and I'll hand back to Vicky.